Hey guys, when he comes up to speak, audio is going to go down. I'm going to move the mic up. Audio will come back up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the University of Louisville. We've got an exciting announcement today about the future of our men's basketball program. I do want to caution right from the top, we're not here to talk about the ongoing investigation into the program. We have no updates at this time. We're here to introduce our new men's basketball coach. And to do that, here is our interim university president, Dr. Gregory Postel.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here again. We appreciate the tremendous amount of interest there has been this week in these topics that are so important to the future of the University of Louisville and our athletics program. Let me start by saying that we will be calling another press conference early to mid next week, and the purpose for that will be to announce the naming of our acting athletics director. We're not prepared to do that today. But we do have one very exciting announcement to make, and it's a timely one. Basketball season is upon us. It's hard to believe. We're just getting into our 5th week of college football, and here we realize that Sunday, the men's basketball practice season begins. So this is an important announcement and a very timely one. The university has spent a lot of time this week. It's been a busy week, taking into consideration many, many factors to be sure that we make the best decision possible. It's very important that we have high-quality leadership for what promises to be an outstanding team this year, and it's critical that we produce stability and make sure these players know that they're going to have excellent coaching and a stable environment so that they can have a successful season playing for the University of Louisville. And so with those considerations in mind, I am absolutely delighted this afternoon to announce that effective immediately, I am appointing David Padgett as the acting head men's basketball coach for the University of Louisville. I want to say a few words about David. He has an impressive resume as a college player and as a college coach. He was a McDonald's All-American who originally signed with Kansas before he determined that Louisville was really the place for him. He was a member of the 2004 USA Basketball Junior World Championship qualifying team that claimed a gold medal. He was a 3-year starter and captain for the college basketball team right here at the University of Louisville from 2005 through 2008. He was a unanimous first-team All-Big East Conference selection as a senior and earned USBWA All-District 4 honors. I might add that he was one of the best passing big men that the University of Louisville has ever seen. He played 2 years of professional basketball after leaving U of L in the Canary Islands, and then returning to the States after his professional career overseas. He served a year as assistant strength coach for the Cardinals, then went for 3 years as an assistant at IUPUI, and then finally returned here to U of L as director of basketball operations and became an assistant coach in 2016. Some personal traits worthy of mention. David is known by all as a hard worker. He's known as a team player, often even playing when he was working through personal injuries. And he was viewed by his fellow players as a coach on the floor, even when he was still a player. These are the kinds of things that I know will cause him to be extraordinarily successful in this role and allow him to usher a great season into U of L basketball history. So with that, I'm delighted to introduce our new acting head men's basketball coach, David Padgett.
I knew this was going to be a problem. First and foremost, I would just like to thank Dr. Postel for everything he's had to deal with, I guess, this week from a university standpoint. It's been a dark week at U of L. There's no other thing to say about that. It's been very trying for a lot of people, for the university, the city, this program, the athletics department. It's been a tough week, but we're getting through it. We're putting our head down, going back to work, and we look forward to moving forward and getting on with basketball season and continuing to have some great success in the athletics department. When I came here 13 years ago, I'm a West Coast guy, originally from Nevada, but this is now my home, and it has been for the last 13 years, off and on. This city has embraced me. This university embraced me when I was a student athlete here. It's embraced me since I came back as an employee. I met my wife here. Her whole family lives here. One of my children was born here, so this is definitely my home, and I care deeply about this city and this university. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to for me personally is the 14 guys that are in our locker room. They've had a tough couple days, as we all have, but they are the reason why we're here. They're the reason I'm here. They're the reason the rest of our staff is here, and this is what me doing this is for them. All right, I made that very clear with Dr. Postel from day one. I want to do this for these players. I'm not looking past anything except the next 6, 7, 8 months of trying to have as great of a season as we can have, because these kids deserve it. It's a unique group, probably the most unique group I've ever been around. And I honestly can say I'm not sure if any other group of players would have been able to get through what we've had to go through the last 72 hours. It's been very trying. There's been a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of concerns, not only from the players but from their parents. And we've done the best job we can to try to calm those questions and fears. And a perfect example of these kids is the other day we made it a point to try to return to normalcy as quickly as possible. And what I mean by that is it was actually the day where all this went down with Tom Jarrett and Coach Pitino, and we had a 3 o'clock weights and conditioning workout scheduled that day. And it was a very tough afternoon. Coach obviously met with the team and told them, and later that afternoon I walked into the gym, and I don't know if I've ever seen so much enthusiasm and excitement from a group before, and I was stunned. It took me back. I'm standing there next to Fred Heenan, our trainer, and he just looks at me and goes, "This is a special group," and I firmly believe that. And I kind of knew at that point that it's a resilient group. They're extremely close on and off the court, and I think there's not a better group in the world I would pick to try to go through this season with. I mean, I firmly believe that. I told them that. I told their parents that, and it's going to be a challenge. There's no question about it, but we're in it together, and we're going to certainly play for the name on the front. And I told them a unique thing today. The first time I really got to meet with them as a team, I go, 2 years ago we had a rough ending to the season with Damian and Trey when they couldn't play in the postseason. Obviously that was the reason they came here. And I said it was amazing to watch the city of Louisville rally around those two kids and that team. And I said, but if you guys put forth the effort I know you will, and I know you're capable of, and you handle yourselves in a professional way like I know you will, this city will rally around you guys like you've never seen before. And I firmly believe that. I've seen it as a player. I've seen it as a coach. I've seen it in other sports. But this city will absolutely rally around these kids, which is what they need. You know, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, and it's a tough time for them right now, and they need that support and that, you know, love from this city, and they'll get it. So, you know, we're excited about getting going, getting back to a routine, getting into practice, and just focusing on basketball. You know, it's obviously this is going to be not a distraction, but I mean, it's going to be there all season. And the situation is what it is, but we're going to deal with it, and we're going to be positive about it every day, and we're going to try to go out and win as many games as possible, and you know, we're looking forward to the challenge. So I guess with that, I'll start taking any questions.
David, what about your staff?
Yeah, see, that's something Dr. Postel and I have talked about. We got to get a new interim athletic director in place and get all those figured out. You know, it's been a crazy 72 hours with trying to get this position filled first, and you know, we haven't had a whole lot of time to think about that. So, you know, we might be a little shorthanded here for a while, but again, that's just something that we got to figure out with the new AD next week.
Can you assure the fans that are watching that you will not be named in the investigation as it moves forward?
I can assure that for myself. You know, I can't get into too much detail about the investigation. It's a federal investigation. It's ongoing. So, you know, I don't think Dr. Postel would have had the confidence to put me up in this position if he was worried about anything.
What about
you plan on retaining Kenny Johnson and Jordan Fair? What is their status as we speak right now?
Again, that's something we got to figure out next week with the AD. That's a decision that might not solely be based on me. So it's something we just got to wait and figure out.
Are they your assistants now? Are they assistants?
Again, we got to talk about that next week with the athletic director.
Have they been helping you the last couple of days?
We haven't started practice yet. So the last 3 days, the only workouts we've done is just weights and conditioning. I haven't even been there for that because there's been so much going on, so we haven't got that far yet.
Who's helping you coach right now? Who's helping
We have not got into practice yet, so there hasn't been anybody to help me coach.
you get to practice? Who will be there to help you coach?
Like I said, we could be a little shorthanded this weekend and for the next couple of days, but again, it's a very fluid situation. I wish I had more definitive answers right now, but there's just so many moving parts that need to be figured out before we can.
Do you get the sense that your players are going to be sticking around, anyone leaving?
I've not gotten that sense from anybody. I've never seen a group of kids come together like these kids have the last 3 days. And not only the kids, but their parents. I mean, the support I've gotten from their parents that I didn't even ask for, just them reaching out to me. And obviously I've done my best to try to keep all of them in the loop. I mean, I spent Wednesday and Thursday afternoon for 2 hours on the phone with parents just trying to assure them because, you know, I was in a little bit of an unique situation after my senior year of high school because I kind of went through a coaching change, and long story short, that's why I ended up transferring. So I know the unknown is the most frustrating thing about all this. So I've just tried to keep everybody updated, and now that we have this at least filled, we can start to move forward. No, that is not my decision.
David, there'll be people who say that you're connected to Coach Pitino, and that won't be a good thing. How do you answer people who will be critics like that?
I mean, I can't deny my relationship with Coach Pitino. I mean, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for him. But again, my focus right now is on these kids. Obviously, it's been a very tough week, like I said. You know, but they're excited to get back to play basketball because at the end of the day, they're here to be great student athletes. They want to represent themselves in the classroom and on the court, and they're excited to get back to doing that. The last time I spoke with Coach, we had a team meeting on, you know, excuse me for getting my days mixed up here. It's been a long week. Wednesday afternoon, we had a team meeting because he wanted to address the team in person, which is very fair. And then as soon as the team meeting was over, you know, we spoke briefly, and that's the last time I've spoken with him.
How challenging is it going to be to have a regular season with all this negative stuff going around the program?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I think we all know that. It's a very tumultuous time right now for this basketball team, for this athletic department. But again, my focus is it's not a campaign slogan, but I'm trying to make this about the team this year. The team is first and foremost. This is not about me. I'm not, you know, I wanted to step in to help these kids and try to put them in a position to succeed.
Are you concerned to that,
No, I have not.
Are you concerned this might damage your relationship with Coach Pitino by taking this job?
No, Coach and I will be friends for life. You know, there's no question about that. I mean, he means a lot to me. I can't deny that. I'm not going to stand up here and say that you know, my relationship with him is over. But again, I have a job to do. Dr. Postel has brought me here to do a job, and I'm going to give 110% effort for the next 6-7 months to doing that job.
Dave, can you talk about, you said that one of your friends, what's the week-like emotion been for you, the highs and the lows of this week?
I don't know if I have enough time to have emotion. You know, my first concern, and I probably sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but this is just the kind of person I feel like I am and the way I was raised by my parents. my first concern was these kids. Obviously there's a lot of questions about, the support staff, what's going to happen, all this and that. But I've been in their chair before, and I've sat in that locker room before, and I know that these kids, it's hard for them not to get caught up in it, but they deserve to have as good of a season and to have a chance to prove themselves on the floor more than anything, and so that's what we're focusing on.
Are you disappointed in Coach Pitino?
Look, I'm disappointed in the fact that this university and this program is struggling right now. But again, look, the last couple of days it's been an emotion of shock, sadness, sometimes disbelief, sometimes heartbreaking, but at some point we got to move on, and that's why I'm standing here today.
You said you met with Rick Pitino who see this, that say, if this may be the only coach who didn't know what was going on, how could you not have known what was going on? Did you know any of that stuff was happening?
Again, it's an ongoing federal investigation that I can't comment on that right now.
What was the brief conversation with Pitino like? What did he say?
He was heartbroken, understandably so. But and I know Coach well enough to know that he wants what's best for these kids, and that's why he's not trying to. We need to focus on these kids. I think if he were standing right here next to me right now, he would say the exact same thing. It's about these kids. That's why we're all here. Yes, they are. We have no intention of changing that. Obviously the circumstances have been very difficult, but we need to have a basketball season as normal as possible. Now, obviously, it's not going to be a completely normal one. I think everybody here knows that. But we need to do what is best to prepare these guys to play our first game against George Mason and get ready for ACC play.
David, you followed two Hall of Famers, two guys with 4 national championships. Could you talk about the challenge of sitting in that big chair?
To be honest, I'm not really thinking about that. Now, again, my grandfather used to say something funny. If you're not nervous before every game, there's something wrong with you. Obviously, before my first game, I'll probably be throwing up back in the locker room. But no, again, I'm not looking at it as that because like I told Dr. Postel, I'm not auditioning for a long-term job here. When I got into this profession, my goal was to be a head coach. I certainly didn't expect it to come this way per se, but I'm not trying to prove myself to to meet Coach Pitino standards or Coach Crum standards. I'm just trying to win as many games as we can for these kids.
What is your relationship with Andy Miller of ASM, and do you still have one with him?
Look, Andy Miller was my agent for the 2 years I played professionally from end of 2008 to the spring of 2010. I can honestly say the only communication I've had with him since was he sends me a text message every year saying happy birthday. But other than that, we have no relationship.
Do you want your kids to wear Adidas clothes, or would you like, or is that taken and you want the university to explain the relationship with Adidas?
As far as our players, what they wear on the court, that's a decision that's out of my control.
You said 14 players in the locker room, that does not account for anybody?
Yeah, I mean, we all know Brian's status right now. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. We just have to let that situation work itself out, just like the rest of this whole deal.
You said if you're just interested in winning the most games you can at the time that you're here, but if you were offered the job full time, would you take it?
That is so far for me to think about right now. Look, this is the University of Louisville. This is a top 5 program, in my opinion. And we're trying to keep the reputation of this program intact as much as we can. We've been in a bad spotlight here for a while now, and I want to just do everything I can to get us out of that spotlight and just get some stability for these kids so we can start practice here in a couple of days and move forward. Yes, Brian Bowen is still on campus.
David, talk about the team for a second, the team you inherit, what it will be like, maybe some of the possible starters, whether it's Race Ball and Quentin Snyder, just some hardcore sports stuff for a second.
Well, I think we have a heck of a team, and I don't know if that's been overlooked in the media or whatnot, but we have a very, very talented basketball team this year. We have Quentin and Honest, obviously, 2 senior captains that have played a lot of basketball. Dang Adele at the end of last year was playing just as well as anybody. Ray Spalding has completely transformed his mindset and his game and everything, and we have a very deep and talented team this year, and that's what's giving us excitement. And I hope the fans, when they get a chance to see us for our first red-white game, I hope they see the potential this team has, and I hope they get excited about them. Yeah, I've talked to every player. That's my job. Acting head coach, assistant coach, that's my job, is to maintain a great relationship with these players. Because, like I said, I haven't been in this situation, which I don't think anybody has, but I've been in a situation where there's unknown for coaching staff, and it's not an easy situation to be in. So I just try to ease their fears as much as possible.
How long is your deal for?
Tuesday, I was down in Orlando, Florida, actually recruiting, and I didn't even end up getting back in town until about almost 8 o'clock that night. So anything, well, I mean, it was all over everything. So
How long is your deal for? When are you hired through and at what salary?
we have not got into that. I've not signed anything. We haven't negotiated that because Dr. Postel's concern, as well as mine, was just getting this title per se established so we could get some type of order to get going with practice. Again, we have not talked about those specifics.
You have to cheat to attract these players.
No, you don't.
How skeevy is the recruiting world right now?
Well, I mean, that's a very open-ended question, but look, there's a lot that's going to come out of this. I think a lot of people are saying it's only the tip of the iceberg, so we're just going to have to let all that work itself out. This is, some people are saying this could be good for college basketball. Some are saying it could be bad, but that is, again, that is not my concern right now. I'm just 100% focused on this season. Yes, they did. Both were longtime coaches.
Did you reach out to them about this decision to take this job, and or what have they said to you about taking it?
Well, I wish I could have reached out to my grandfather. He passed away about 7 years ago, but that's okay. Yeah, of course I've spoken to my dad. He's biggest influence in my life when it comes to basketball. So my family's just very supportive. I have a great support system here with my wife and her family and a lot of people throughout the university. So, like I said, and I told the players and I told the rest of our support staff this today, I said, look, there's going to be a lot of things I do wrong. I'm going to make some mistakes, but just bear with me. I'm open to any suggestions, and we just got to do this together.
Will this look like a Coach Pitino team? What's your coaching style going to be like? Is it going to be like this?
Well, I think it's hard to deny the impact he's had. I played for him for 4 years. I've coached and worked under him here now for 4 or 5 years, and he's been a very big influence in my life and in my basketball approach. And so, obviously we'll do a lot of the stuff the same because another reason is that's what most of these kids are familiar with. So why would I come in and try to reinvent the wheel for something that's been so successful for a long time?
Was there anything that Jordan Fair or Kenny Johnson?
No, I have not.
Was there anything that made you hesitant about taking the job?
No, because my only concern was these kids. And look, if Dr. Postel decided to go in a different direction, I would have been extremely supportive because it's about these kids, it's about this program and this university, and I'm going to do what's asked of me, and I'm going to do what's in their best interest.
Do you feel more pressure to win basketball games, or do you feel more pressure from your in-laws knowing that they're from Louisville and you have to prove that you're running a clean program?
God, if I married into a family that's going to put that kind of pressure on me, maybe I made a mistake. But no, I have the most supportive and extremely caring support family that a guy could ever ask for.
What's your message to the fan base right now?
Like I said in my opening remarks, and this isn't even a message or a plea for help. I know how these fans are. Like I said, 2 years ago with the thing we went through with Damian and Trey, those two kids were put up on a pedestal like icons because of what they had to go through, something that was out of their control. And I know how great these kids are. I know how much this town cares about basketball. And at the end of the day, they just want to see kids give great effort, handle themselves in a professional way, and succeed. And that's what we're going to do.
David, are you confident that the Coach 1 reference is not part of your staff right now?
Again, I can't talk about that. It's an ongoing investigation. We're focused on basketball.
Will you start Sunday? Will you all
Yes, we plan to fully start practice on Sunday.
What does it mean to you that the players seem to step up and say that they'd love to be led by you?
Oh, it's very flattering. I mean, as a player reaching out to a coach, you always knew that what you were saying was sincere. So now that I'm a coach, I know what the players are saying is sincere. And, it just goes to show how great a kids they are. I can't say enough about their character. I think anybody in the athletics department can reiterate that, and people in this town can reiterate that. And I think when we get on the court here in a couple weeks for the first time for the public, I think they'll be very impressed.
Have you given any thought to if you do have to bring in support staff, who you would bring?
I can't even begin to tell you how many thoughts I've had over the last 72 hours, and things run through your head. I haven't slept. I probably look awful right now, and my wife's going to get mad. But, again, the first step obviously was getting this done, so we have some type of direction, and now we just got to get the rest of the details worked out, and I know we will. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here today. I believe Coach Padgett will stick around for a little while for some one-on-ones, and we do have news releases that has all the background that you need. Thank you.